Welcome to the show. Creative Universe Checkpoint Earth presents a summer show, Union News, The Divine Mirror, Your Twin Flame. The real twin flame work happens on the inside and then it will guaranteed manifest outside. In this series of lives, I share about what that means for my union consciousness process to inspire you to find yours. It serves as the source for your almost daily twin flame news. Today on the show, we have the Divine Mirror, your twin flame. Let me know where you are watching from. I'm always curious who watches my show in a live or in a recording, in the audio version, wherever you are. So, and it's always special to learn that we come together here from all over the world. So where are you? I am in the Netherlands, in Europe. So there you go. We are going to talk about the Divine Mirror, your true twin flame. And isn't that a topic that explains itself in a sense, right? It's like, oh, it's a statement. It's like, oh, your twin flame is your mirror. And it is even your divine mirror. So what will we see in the mirror? And is it perhaps so that whatever we see in our twin flame, that is exactly mirroring what is in us? What about that? And when we establish that, well, that's actually true. Let me tell you a secret. But what about this? Doesn't everyone actually mirror what is inside of you? And does the entire world not do that? That's true as well. But your true twin flame is the biggest, most sharp, but also most loving mirror of them all. It is for a reason, your true twin flame. This is a special function of them. They're your divine mirror. Now, what does that mean? And how can that help you to know that, right? I guess we'll touch on these kinds of topics today in the show. So let's go. And let's see what we have today for the Twin Flame Union Consciousness Wisdom of the Day. Because I just make these small blurbs that well up from the heart. And they say something about harmonious Twin Flame Union, true Twin Flames together, the consciousness of them, and what it all is about and how it comes to be and whatnot. And I selected another blurb, so to speak, another sentence for you. And here it is. Fear needs to be transformed so that it evaporates. And love is revealed. The love that was there already all along. In the inside, you need to go to true twin flame love, which is divine love. Which is the only love there really is. And it is revealed as the foundation of life itself. Fear needs to be transformed so that it evaporates and love is revealed. The love was there already all along. In this inside, you need to go to true twin flame love, which is divine love, which is the only love there really is. And it is revealed as the foundation of life itself. So, in other words, not fear is the foundation of life, but love. But you will find fear when you go to the intimacy that true twin flame love and the union that belongs to that really comes near, you will feel fear. And that's the point. That needs to be transformed. Or perhaps, what do you think of this? Not believed in, don't believe in the fear. And then it just evaporates as if it's like air that just spreads itself out again. It was not more than a blow. And when you don't fall for it, it will just disperse and shift to the side. Just a little bit of air. That's all. And the love that was already there is revealed. And that love grounds you. It was already there. Now you uncovered it. You found it and it found you. That's what will happen in every step you make on the twin flame journey. And that's how you make steps in union consciousness, which is what you need to make twin flame union concrete and lasting. So that they like don't run away again and everything, everything that you dislike. That they don't block you on Facebook anymore and stuff. Because you're grounded in union consciousness, because you're not afraid, because you don't believe in fear. Because you know that fear just evaporates, because you know that fear is not more than a cloud or a sigh. Because you let love truly be revealed in every step. Because you experience that that is what you can stand on. And it is there every time because it's the foundation of life. That is the true foundation of life. And every step you make in the direction of your true twin flames union together with you will reveal that. You go through the fear towards, that revelation. Every step. And that's how you know that you're going in the right direction. That's how you can be happy while making this progress. That's how you know things are going well on your journey. You can expect the full result to come to you soon enough. But you will feel the fear, which is the resistance, which is the feels bad, which is the feels difficult, which is the I don't want to look in that direction because my ego will feel insulted. That's that place of fear. So you understand what it says, like the true foundational divine twin flame love is underneath it. You have to step through that resistance, through that place of my ego feels insulted, through that place of I'm fearful, which is all the same thing. And it's not more than a sigh, a cloud, some air that will evaporate once your feet touch the foundational love underneath it. And you'll do that in every step. And that's how you know that it starts to work out. And that's also how it can be that I say all the time that it can be happy what you're doing on your way to your true twin flame in harmonious union, in the consciousness state it is all about, that makes it peaceful and lasting and guaranteed with a true person. That's how that can be, that I say it is actually supposed to be happy and problemless and just joyful, even pleasurable, soul pleasure. But not in that part of the step where you feel that the ego is feeling insulted. Not in that part of the step where the fear is still hanging around in that cloud, in that dust, in that rain, in that, I don't know what it is, in the fear, in the ego. Not there, but underneath it when you step through it. So you need to step through it all the time, and then through it all the time, and through it and through it and through it. And that's how you step actually on love, on grounding, on truth, on just an enjoyable next step. But many people, they stop when they sense like the resistance, when they sense the fear, when they sense the ego's sense of feeling insulted. And then they stop and they're like, yeah, you with your talk on YouTube, about that it must be happy and it's also easy, and well, not at all. What nonsense are you saying? But you're just stopping in that layer of fear where that cloud is still hanging, and you need to move through it to the core of the heart, and then put your feet down. And then the next step, do the same. And also get used to the fact that you don't fall for that resistance, that ego, that fear anymore. Or you just forget that every step again. It doesn't matter. But as long as you then remind it inside every step, that's what I do. I just remind myself inside every step, oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay. And then I touch the ground. I touch the divine love. It's okay to forget it every time. Just remind yourself and be committed to a whole process of journeying in which you will remind yourself all the time. Commit to that kind of journey. And that's what you do in our program, Twin Flame Abundance Now, that is starting up now, and you would be welcome to step in. At this moment, it's Tuesday, the 5th of August. And before the week is over, on Friday, the 8th of August, 8/8, the Lionsgate high point of this year, of summer 2025. On that day, the subscription closes. So make your mind up right now if you want to be in that group that, just we'll do exactly this, what we've just now discussed, right? We'll do exactly this in the group, and it's just emotionally safe, and it's beautiful to make these steps together and to inspire each other with it. And to commit to doing these kinds of steps that are going in the right direction, and that will make you truly happy. So we'll sort of defocus on the fact that there's fear again, there's resistance again, and we do focus on, but this is going in the right direction, and just put your feet down there and feel that you're in divine love. I get it again. Yeah. And then we just keep on going. And that's what we do in the group. That's the main part we do when you step into the program, Twin Flame Abundance Now. And that'll bring you home with your true twin flame in harmonious union, in the union consciousness it is all about. And I guarantee that. Not per se within the year that you step in, year course. Maybe quicker, but maybe also a bit longer. As long as you keep committing, I will be doing my part and you'll arrive. So if that feels for you, you are invited. So don't think that you're left out, or that we don't know each other yet, or that means that it seems far away to be with me in a group. No, it's okay. We know each other's heart. You can still come in. Just do it. Give yourselves the chance to experience this. Give yourself the commitment that you need, and the choice that you need, and the support that you need and that you deserve, because you don't need to do this alone. Let's move on to the next part of today's show. And that is going to be the A Course in Miracles lesson of the day. ACIM, A Course in Miracles. And that always helps us taste a little bit more about what is union consciousness. And I love that this course just always brings us in the right direction with a couple of words. And today we have a short lesson. It's lesson 217. So it's day 217 of the year, apparently. And we are going to review an earlier lesson. The earlier lesson is 197. It sounds like this. I'm not a body. I'm free, for I am still as God created me. It can but be my gratitude I earn. Who should give thanks for my salvation but myself? And how but through salvation can I find the self to whom my thanks are due? I am not a body. I am free. I'm still as God created me. That was it. And as always, I have a link to where this comes from and where you can find deeper teachings around this written in the typical A Course in Miracles beautiful language. And you find all of these sources and stuff in my Patreon. I will do the show notes. I place them after the live is over on my Patreon, all show notes from everything that we discussed in this show. And you can always read them there. It's a little bit of a study material, actually, for your own union consciousness process. And if you become a member of my Patreon, then you support the messages for sure. But you also, don't forget that, support yourself. You make it more true for yourself when you become a Patreon member. By giving a little money, you make it come true. Money has the power of make come true, because it's physical. And you allowed yourself, by doing that, to sink a little more into union consciousness. In making a deal with Divine Mother. That's what you do. And it starts to work out for you, that you listen to the shows and that you read the show notes. Yeah, it starts to work out for you. That's why I give you the opportunity to become a Patreon member. So, but let's have a look again at the ACIM lesson. I'm not a body, I'm free, for I'm still as God created me. You know, we talked about this earlier, and it just keeps on coming back because it's just so fundamental. And it keeps on coming back in your whole twin flame journey that you're not the body. So even though we can respect the body and help the body and aid the body and do everything that the body needs and give our body, you know, everything good that we can imagine, which is really a good idea, right? We don't believe that our identity is the body at the core. We don't believe that we are a physical being only. And that's really the foundation of twin flames, because otherwise you would just say, well, I don't need a twin flame. I can just, you know, let my body biological chemistry come up when I see this hot girl or this hot boy walking by. And that's enough. I'll just follow them and say, hey, can we date? And then we had a couple dates. And then I say, hey, can we be engaged? And hey, can we be having a family together? But let's first get married. And, you know, everything follows from that. Isn't that enough? Well, that's very biological. And it is part of the twin flame romance, of course. That's somehow like built into the twin flame result. For sure. But it's not the core, because the core of twin flames is that you do all of this, that you allow all of that to happen, and this magnificent romance that you can experience in the flesh. Isn't the flesh a hugely magnificent vehicle to experience that? That you're going to allow that to unfold with the person, with the soul, with the human being, at the core of that flesh body that is uniquely your twin flame and not with someone else. And you know that only by the fact that you're not a body, you're free. You're a spirit that God created. What's more, you're the spirit that God created you with as one union. That's what that means. That's what twin flames means. That's the definition of that. Yeah. So that's why we keep on saying, I'm not a body, I'm free. And well, like ACIM says that, A Course in Miracles says that. And it's like such a beautiful, fundamental idea to start to understand and integrate for union consciousness. So there it is again, again and again. And then it talks about it can be but my gratitude I earn. So who is going to be happy that I got my identity right? I understand that I'm not a body, I'm the spirit. And God created me in a union as spirit with my counterpart. Right? Who is grateful about that? Well, I am. You don't do that for someone else. Someone else doesn't do it for you. Someone else is not going to be happy because you listen to your inner core that says that you are a twin flame. You are going to be happy about it. You are going to reap the results of that. But as the one that gives that knowledge to themselves and accepts it and is grateful about that themselves, you are a shining example for the entire world, for everyone else to see. For all the other unions in the universe to experience that you accepted it. And that's how you teach, and that's how they understand that they can do that for themselves as well. And that's going to be your mission. So that's Twin Flame Mission. There you go. Right from A Course in Miracles. And it says, who should give thanks for my salvation but myself? All right, so salvation is that process of making that come true. Being the twin flame of your twin flame in union, in relation with God. Embodying that. And nothing else. That is the process of salvation. So that's what that word sort of means, right? So, and who should give thanks for that but myself? So I'm going to be grateful that I made it come true, right? Union consciousness come true. And who should give thanks for my salvation but myself? So you're also going to give because you feel grateful that you did that you have that you know that you live that you embody that. You're so grateful about that just in and of itself that you start to share. There's the mission again, Twin Flame Mission. Share from the heart. And how but through salvation can I find the self to whom my thanks are due? So this is always so interesting. This is like some sort of a circle talk that is happening here. It seems to be happening, and this is for sure true. How but through salvation can I find the self to whom my thanks are due? So now we're going to focus on the fact that there is one self. And actually, this one self is not even like, oh, there's a me, there's a twin flame, that's a union. Okay, maybe that's the self then. But there are other unions there. That's what we just said, not even a minute ago. So there's a self, all kinds of unions that are also selves. And maybe there are individuals in these unions that are self and self together a union. Okay, or is there union to self? Okay, that seems deeper. Maybe that's the truth then, right? But now I'm still thinking that there are unions out there. And then there's my twin flame union right here. Self and self, divine masculine and divine feminine. And we're together one union. Okay. So maybe that's the self, the union, or is the self the divine feminine alone and the divine masculine alone? Okay, interesting questions. I'll meditate on that. But I'm still thinking that there are unions out there and there's a union here. And this sentence sort of says, and how but through salvation can I find the self to whom my thanks are due? It points to the fact that there is only one self. Here, there, everywhere in the entire universe. There's not you and me. There's not your union and my union. There's even something bigger, and that is the self. It's like the Son of God. That's how it's called in A Course in Miracles, to indicate, daughter of God is the same, right, in the book, but to indicate that there is one deep, peaceful, divinely loving, shining essence. And everyone is part of that. That's the Son of God, the daughter of God. That's the self. That's the true self. You're divine. That you are that divine spark. You are that divine light. That is the self. And you found it because you saved yourself, salvation. And you are grateful and sharing gratitude because you're part of that, because you found it back. You found back who you truly are. Well, and isn't that like really what it comes down to here? Like you just found who you truly are. Who you truly, truly are. And it fell in the right place for you. It's not an idea. It's not in a book. It's not an opinion. It fell in the right place in you, and it had consequences, and you're working them out. It's real. My whole work, whatever we talk about in whatever kind of format, is never about an opinion or an idea. However, ideas play a role, but they need to become true in you. Which is not, I got it. No, it's something else. It's an organic process of who you are, what you deem yourself to be in truth, every moment, right now. Where's your consciousness? Oh, my consciousness is over there, flying around, hoping for my twin flame. Okay, well, you haven't made it come true. Well, my consciousness is really clear and really rational, and I have the best opinion because twin flames are true. Okay, great rational opinion you have. Fantastic. Could be helpful, indeed. But that's not where your consciousness is. Your consciousness is your beingness. And that's also why we work with the teacher, because they have a grasp on that beingness where you don't have it yet. And that's the blessing of being a student, that you can together co-create until the beingness is attuned right. And then everything just falls into place. And twin flame union will be not a struggle anymore. It will be real for you. Let's move on. We are we're really there. We're going to a segment from one of my books. I just opened the book, and where it comes out, I take it as an oracle, and then we just go for that passage of my book. And I found that we're just going to read, well, just a very heartfelt episode for me. So I was looking forward to this. Here it comes. Restoration of the Inner Order on the Foundation of a School, July 26, 2019. Who are you in the face of God? That is the question. Not who are you in the face of yourself. Who you are in your own perspective is different than how God sees you. But different in what way, you may ask? Does God see your imperfections, or does he see you as as perfect already? And why is who you think you are not who God thinks you are? Intriguing questions any student of life asks themselves, because the questions around who and what you are the well-known, timeless efforts to push through to the inside of the inside and know the secret of life. To answer the question to your divine identity, ego must not be listened to or trusted, for that would mean you won't get lasting answers or truth. Only temporary, emotionally colored answers. Your divine identity, in other words, how God sees you, becomes only clear in the context of inner peace. Inner peace starts in your heart, where you feel the state of your feelings and thus energy. You accept it for what it is. You turn it around. You feel the truth. And let what is not truth go through the key exercise. And consciously love yourself right now, right here. When the dissatisfaction of the moment falls away, you recognize God was here with you all along. God waits until you stop listening to the loud voice and come home to the subtle voice that always accompanies you, loves you. When the ego falls away, there is a spaciousness. And in that spaciousness of your awareness, the master appears. It is your own divine identity that comes forward and starts shining its light into the world. Being a subdued person is not a sign of being your true self, but shining your masterhood is. However, what is meant is different than self-aggrandizing and arrogance. The true self is uncomplicated and has a soft, strong power that sparks love. It has a peaceful, joyful confidence to it that makes it feel like solid pieces from the ground, like solid pieces form the ground to stand on. This gives a foundation to build one's ultimate life. And that is why we are here, to be who we are in the face of God, fully and unapologetically, to live a life of answered questions and fulfilled desires, a life of perfection under the guidance of God. From the Emerald Itinerary, page 310 to 11. In the paper book called Twin Flames, Manifesting Your Abundant Life of Love. You can find that on Amazon by searching for my name, for instance, or of course, that title of the book, Twin Flames, Manifesting Your Abundant Life of Love. Wow, that took me for a ride. Did it do something for you too? It seems as though what we discussed here in this little piece of a piece that is actually much longer, you can read the rest of it in the book, that it is about what we just discussed beforehand, right? Isn't it? And it was written in July 2019, and that's already a whole couple years ago. And I felt that in my heart, like when I wrote that and what was going on, and like the enormous journey that I personally made between that time and now. I wrote this in the airplane, 2 words, the new world, from Europe to the Americas. And that was the one journey in which I had such deep experiences, and only made that journey because it was a call out of love, of deep love, and to meet the Christ Masters. And all that happened. And all these initiations happened. And I took that to heart, and it directly brought me where we are today, starting up the group course and all the happenings that we have this summer, this time, this year, in welcoming you in the real spiritual work that is truly bringing you to your true twin flame, right? And even almost more important, to your happiness, your health, your wealth, being truly peacefully in that soul pleasure that we touched on earlier. Yeah. And what it brought me is, since when I wrote that until here, oh my gosh, it's like incredible. Well, I went to Union, then I went to Harmonious Union, then I went to the healing wave that came afterwards for me, that brought me the inner inkling with certain curriculums that I will disclose for you as time will progress, because you will also come in union, and then in harmonious union, the consciousness state, and then very logically also arrive in this healing wave. And everything that I helped myself with in this healing wave was brought into e-courses and all kinds of things, and in my books and whatnot, right? So that they will help you too. So that's also why, well, we go to union, I bring you to harmonious twin flame union, the consciousness state, but you stick around, you stay, because the most beautiful unfoldment is happening, and you don't want to disturb yourself in that. You just stick around in coaching, and you're just going through like the unfoldment of your dreams that is going to make you so happy and peacefully in that soul pleasure, just like it did for me. So what it did for me was, well, in this healing wave, I was going to correct my soul's karma, you could say. And within that was also the resolution, definitively and completely, of my trauma. I had like childhood trauma and whatnot. Well, who hasn't, you know? For me, it was really like narcissistic upbringing, and within that context, also sexually, well, repressing and sexually abusive. And all of that came up to be healed. But maybe you could just say, and this is more like universal, like the inner child healing, you know, to completion. And God gave me just the instruments to have a mother that was like a God mother, you know. This was divine mother. And I worked with her regularly for long stretches of time, like every month. And then I worked with Divine Father. I worked with him on other parts of my inner child that needs parents. And it was indescribable, but beautiful and transformative and completing. I was like completing lessons. I was completing little pieces in my development that brought me to that. All of them, they every time they brought me to, well, this sort of completion, and like this new sense of bloom, of fruit coming out. And it was like definitive. I really took shape. I got my divine identity, because the inner child needs a divine mother and it needs a divine father, and that's real. It's not a joke. It's not like, yeah, well, I get it, I'm so intellectual, so I understand I'm a twin flame and that's enough. No, the inner child needs a real divine mother. The inner child needs a real divine father, and that stuff is real. That growth that comes from it is real. It's not air, it's not nothing. It's you can chew on that. It gives a ground. You can step on that. It's like solid ground where you're brought through these developments. And I was shown everything that was wrong. Like for me personally, like everything, like my entire childhood and every single detail of an aspect of it was like wrong because it had been wrong because it was not real. Everything was not real. Look, the whole narcissistic thing means that, well, like the original narcissist never got further than 18 months old, approximately, in psychological age. Well, like three years old maximum, something in between there. And it went wrong there. And the original narcissist gives the child, when it from like the second it is born, gives it a wrong placement psychologically and therefore also spiritually. Very much spiritually, actually. Narcissism is really, it's a spiritual problem. It really is. And it's also a moral problem. We can't go all the way in this topic, I think, but apparently I'm going to say a little bit about it because we're talking about being a divine child. And that is the core of your identity, and that you need a divine mother, you need a divine father, and that stuff is real. So what I experienced was that it was not real. Like the original narcissist did not bring this baby, me, to a place that they can have an identity of their own and invite God into themselves so that they can start to grow autonomously. But this original narcissist used the baby for the lack in themselves, for the fact that they had no self. So the gaze of the child was used to gain a self. And that's exactly the wrong way round as how parenthood should go. And the only way to repair that is to go back to God and to your divine identity. And that changed this whole situation literally around. And it's about redoing all the developments from that second on until here. And then you're healed. So, I think I was just a great example for going fundamentally through all these things. And now I know how the people I guide can also go through all these elements, that I haven't even mentioned, but there's a lot in that, of course. And I also talk about this right now in this show today because only days ago I went to the newly acquired high point of this entire development for myself, and I closed off the healing wave episode. The divine mother healing and the divine father healing came together for me in a new, well, it was like a moment of complete spiritual sexual ecstasy that lasted for 40 minutes approximately. And then there was a big lesson that needed to be learned as well, because always when we make any step, we feel bliss, and there's a lesson too. And when we separate that from each other, it goes wrong. So that's for my students, that's for me as well. So like the bliss was indescribable, so intense. But there was also the lesson, and it was different things were brought together in a new way, like my sense of order in myself got sort of a new startup. And the lesson also had to do with like taking my twin flame with me there and integrating him there. Experiencing that there was something that irritated me about that. And then I was like, no, that's just still more anger you're releasing. And then he comes with you in there. And then that is the new stage you're going to move forward with. Okay. There was even that lesson again. And now we can move forward together. So yeah, this was like this was like the closing off, the new place where I came after all the Divine Mother healing and the Divine Father healing. And in the healing wave after Harmonious Union, and it was just indescribably happy and beautiful. So yeah, beautiful. That's certainly what it was. So this text that came from the book today about your divine identity really spoke to me in that sense. And I just felt so complete. And what a wonderful coincidence that right now we're also at the closing of the door, almost, of the group course, Twin Flame Abundance Now, that you can come inside and enjoy the fruits of me having finished also my healing wave after Harmonious Union. And that's in a couple days. That's upcoming Friday on August 8th. Already that the door closes. So if you want to travel with us, now's your chance, to subscribe to your membership. You can choose for silver or gold. And both are fantastic, but it's up to you. If you want to have like the over complete one, that is gold. If you want to have a good basis that still has the very core in it, that's silver. So for you to choose what you would like to do for the upcoming season together in our moving forward as teacher and student. Awesome. Let's go to the Oracle guidance of the day. Let's get an Oracle card from the deck that I made myself for union and mission. And then we'll see. Oh, well, it threw itself out. So here it is. Code Shadow Watt, D2.2. That's the whole planetary system we live in. Traveling from not working aspect to a purified version. Oh, well, have I not just talked about how that worked for me? Time for a new chapter. For me and for you. I'm going to look in the booklet on my screen and we're going to read union, and the mission meaning will be in the show notes on Patreon. Guidance through the journey. Union. Goodbye, Milky Way, sings Enigma in one of their songs. And you see before your mind's eye an astronaut floating through space, through the Milky Way, and then further than that, further than the known. This is where you're now, at this map. You are on your way from what does not work anymore to new areas, new inspiration, new social networks and feelings. The unknown is scary, huge and incomprehensible, and still attractive compared to where you came from and are still standing in with one leg. This journeying position you now take is not pleasant per se, but also not unpleasant. You know what you leave behind, and that did not work anymore. In our solar system, there are many planets, and the happy taste of each of them, their energy, we can experience to get to know ourselves better. After that, we will travel to other experiences and culmination points not being afraid of the valleys of experience, as well as taking them in fully just as much, causes a thorough parting and a guaranteed good start in the next vacation on your new planet. Now you know from your own experience a life lesson that is important to you completely. This can now never be taken away from you anymore, and you hit that rock bottom, your soul will be forever updated. When you hit that rock bottom, your soul will forever be updated with this info so that you, until eternity, are done with this particular lesson. Be thankful and remain calm while moving along your journey. You will arrive at your next planet automatically. You are having an overview of certain fields of life that you have gone through on your twin flame journey. You are now able to benefit from those processed experiences, and it gives you an increased intuition of what could come next for your union. Do not, however, stay in the trap of projection. The chance this comes onto your path is big. Attuning well to the actual source-led union process will bring their next step inside automatically. What a journey. What an amazing, amazing time that I am having with you. Because you have to understand that your and mine experiences, my experiential journey to the consciousness state of harmonious twin flame union and beyond, and yours, your and mine, are intimately related. We cannot do it without each other. I can't travel without you. Because for me, it means that I came in harmonious union consciousness state in March 2020, and I started to experience immediately that this wanted to be passed on. In 2020, I immediately started to work with people because that was so much like the pressure came from inside out. It's just, oh, pressure sounds too much almost, but it's like you're so ripe to share. You just need people to share it with. And it happened. And we started with the love game and with coaching. And it was beautiful. And we learned so much. And I built so much. And that kept on going for, well, what, 5 years? Something like that. And then we got to new rounds. I remember around 2022 when I attracted a new wave of people. Some old friends, some new people. And we started to bring immediately people to on the brink of meeting their true twin flame and going to harmonious union. And union, like physical union and sexual union. And I remember there were people that then said, no, I don't want it. And they walked off. But I also had a student that kept on traveling with me, and she also came back after she had a little bit of a break in our relationship. And then later in 2022, 2023, and then I brought her to her harmonious union. It was her turn. At the beginning of 2023. And even after that, we got a new wave of people. And then I started to see that things were just quickening My healing was quickening because I was in my healing wave. And my healing wave could only take place because you were there too. Because harmonious twin flame union, the consciousness state, it means that you need to share it too, to keep it. It means that you need to have people there with you, traveling with you. It just means that this mission starts, the twin flame mission. That's just what it means. You can't help it. There need to be people to accept what you have to give. And even when they decide that that was enough for them and they go around another corner for a while, they still needed to be there. Because that is also the basis through which I can have my harmonious union and keep it alive and move further and further through my healing wave in the direction of building physically with my true twin flame. Resolving the very many inner child pains that I had, that Divine Mother was guiding me to release. And then afterwards, Divine Father came. And he took me for a huge ride as well. But around 2023, we were still in the realm of Divine Mother, I think, in like my healing wave and what came through for me for the inner child healing that was so necessary. I mean, it kept on going and it was deeper and deeper and deeper. And everything that I went through, I could pass on to you. You could now go through it as well. Within the space of within harmonious twin flame union, the consciousness state, not outside of it, because very many people work on these kinds of things outside of it. They go to a therapist, a psychologist, I don't know what they do. They drink ayahuasca, I don't know, all kinds of things. And I have done all these things too, and there's not really anything wrong with it per se. So please don't feel like that because it's not necessary. Never say that kind of thing, that something would be wrong. But what I'm saying is, it's not within the context of the beingness that is in and around you, that you are in with your consciousness. It's not within the beingness of harmonious twin flame union that you like potentially go to a therapist and work on your inner child with inner mother healing or something. You do that outside of that consciousness, that twin flames in union consciousness should come in. And then it, in a certain way, it doesn't stick around or something. It's not yet bringing you inside the harmonious union and then work on your inner child. Well, it's almost not working on your inner child. It's just whatever comes up. You do that. It's just organic. You organically keep on going deeper because I chose to keep on sticking with my consciousness state and not lose it. Because I wanted to actually build, the promise of harmonious union is that you can build physically with your true twin flame. And that's where I wanted to go. So I kept on doing the inner work that I was already doing and through which I had reached harmonious twin flame union, the consciousness state. So, and that then organically brought up that I was going to do apparently like inner child work for needing an inner mother, for needing an inner father badly, because that came up and the solution also came up automatically together with it. And I just kept on going in the direction I was already going in. And I was taking my friends with me. I was taking you with me in that direction. And that's how you were also like pulled into like, oh, union, oh, harmonious union, oh, healing wave after harmonious union, because I was like pulling you in because I was going in that direction, you see? So it's like we're in a healing pyramid. I go first. And then, oh, this person is also drawn in, and that also, and these people also, and they also meet their twin flame there, and then they are drawn in to go further with me there, and I keep on going. On this second, visual with my hands were going up, which is actually a good visual because it is ascension. That's what spiritual ascension means. But it's only ascension when you do this inside, let's say, the bubble of that union consciousness that comes with the reaching of harmonious twin flame union, and not when you, apart from that, before you reach it, go to a therapist. Even though that can be great, and there really needs to be nothing wrong with it. It's just something very different in a sense. So the healing that we speak of, that I did afterwards in the healing wave, is just something that comes up because it presents itself, and the solution presents itself as well. And you just choose it and kept on choosing it, and we kept on going in that direction, and I took you with me. And then in 2023, we just attracted a new relationships with a new wave of people somehow, and that was beautiful. It was just beyond beautiful, and Divine Mother was so present and so much acting through me and whatnot, and it was just beyond belief. And I brought 3 people to harmonious twin flame union consciousness state, all 3 within 6 months. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That was just crazy. It was like, oh, now the fruit comes. And the beauty of that time was that the fruit also started to come quick. And I could see that the deeper I went, the higher my transformative power was for you. And the results were just there. It was like some completely different world than me in my long journey, in a long, far gone past, decades of work before I got the true inner work tool from Divine Mother, and then 5 more years before I took that seriously, and then et cetera, very long. Kind of silly if you think back about it, but I mean, it doesn't really matter anymore. The past is over. I reached the now, right, in union consciousness. So it's like it genuinely is over there. You really feel it like that. It really starts to roll up and disappear, even from your memory. Sounds maybe unbelievable, but it's really true. Anyway, so completely different than all these decades of being confused of myself in the past once. I can hardly remember it once. Like completely different that in 2023, in 6 months' time, 3 people go to their harmonious twin flame union. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good news, because I reach this place where I can bring people with me, and it just happens quickly for them. That's like good news. Good news to like bring you, good news to write in a post like, dear people, you don't need decades anymore. And I made that come true for you, that I can do that with clients. And that was just so happy. Of course, it's like good for my marketing slogans, like, but like, it's just genuine, like, oh yeah, I'm so happy. It's yeah, it works. It gets denser and denser, this ability to pass it on, and it gets really efficient and effective. Right? So I was like positively shocked by that, and we kept on moving forward. And that was like in the beginning of 2024, when all these people came into harmonious twin flame union, and not everyone stayed inside that consciousness state. And there's always so much to learn about what really happens, because that's when you see that people sometimes don't want to keep on going, and they don't want to keep on doing the maintenance work, and they don't want to learn the actual lesson that was in it for them. And then it's not about being high. We're not, doing union consciousness because so high all day long. And we're just chilling out and blissing out on the beach all day long. Because you're incredibly high. It's true, you're just high without alcohol, without drugs, without anything. You're just super high. It just is incredibly high vibrational. And that's also why a lot of people are attracted to me right now, because they feel that super duper high vibration and they love that. But the point is that you need to realize it in yourself and then anchor it and not float away on it. Anchor it and maintain it yourself. Otherwise, you're stealing from me. And even though it is only possible to get because I pass it on to you, at the same time, you need to burn in that and find your own footing there. And only then it becomes sustainable for yourself. And you need to give back, of course, for that I gave it to you. And then you need to ground in yourself. And you need to stop stealing from me and keep on giving back for the relationship that you have with me. Ground in your union consciousness. Ground that heart opening and that bliss. And start to do your mission work. And then we can co-create in the mission work. And that relationship just starts to become mutual and alive, and even economically alive. So that's the movement where I bring you in, and it needs to be correctly understood. So maybe this is just a great opportunity to, once again, or I don't know, maybe you hear this for the first time, hear more about that movement that I bring people in, that is about the twin flame healing into union, heal you into union consciousness, and how that works. And what a realistic piece of recent history is that brought us to today. Well, today, in which you can actually step into, the biggest opening I've ever given in summer 2025. I give the biggest upgrade in what I have to offer in our relationship between you and me I ever gave. And that is going to be, that is already a Twin Flame Abundance Now group year course. And you can step into it now until at this moment when I record this, upcoming Friday on August 8th, 2025. And then that's the last day to get your membership, silver or gold. So yeah, this is just this is just like spreading my wings, embracing you like never before. And you want to really step into that so that, I can also bring you further, deeper to union consciousness, to twin flame union consciousness, to harmonious twin flame union consciousness, so that you reap all the benefits from it. And they will be there, and they will be big, much, much, much bigger than you think. Well, that was for me. It was much bigger than I thought. I never thought that life could become real and valuable and work with me. And I was looking back, what was it like yesterday, the day before, over the years, the last couple of years, 5 years or so. And it was like, wow. This has turned everything around for me. Before I felt sad and bad, I had huge anger and extreme grief. I felt small and disrespected by everything and everyone, by the world and by institutions and by the working world and by, colleagues and my twin flame and friends and family. And then I reached Harmonious Twin Flame Union, and then I stepped into the healing wave that was granted me, and then I experienced the mother healing and the father healing, and then I was taking through all these developments in which suddenly it was not that there were no challenges. It was like, well, one challenge after another, but these were just steps in life. It's actually normal, right? I mean that in a normal way. And every single challenge was, I sort of graduated. Piece after piece, I was renewing my entire finances and I graduated. I was repairing a leak situation in the houses that we have here with my below neighbor. And I eventually was able to do that, and I graduated, and I was able to work together with my insurance, even though he was not working with me, this guy below me, at all. And he came out as some sort of a sexual predator who was also lying to me. And the insurance was going to work with me. They took over everything, working with him, communicating with him, paying that part of what our whole deal was about, paying every penny of it. And I had never have an insurance work with me. I even was not in that insurance until right before, because I had a break for that specific insurance of a couple of years. And I was able to tell them that I had a break, but I had like 15 years of insurance with them before. And they did everything for me. And they paid every penny. I had never had such an experience of something that I so desperately needed as well. Seems maybe like a funny, strange, weird, small, very casual experience. But I think it's a very good experience because you also have a casual daily life in which things matter. Things that seem very daily life, very everyday, very menial, very unimportant. But if it's wrong and you need to definitively resolve basic things in your life, these things are enormous. And I had, the local government work against me for years, and then they turned around and they were working with me. And I had experiences that the working world did not work with me. And then they started to work for me. It's a little bit the same as with the insurance experience. And suddenly people were standing up for me and with me and resolving my issues for me, because they were not my issues. They were collective issues, and they were understood and resolved without me doing too much. And I never had such experiences before. Beforehand, everything went wrong. Everything was disrespectful. Well, maybe not literally everything, but like most things were just like stupid and bad and meaningless, and like, daily life things that were stupid, bad, and meaningless. But now, I mean, there were challenges, but everything started to turn around. And I think it was very powerful that I just reflected 2 days ago, and I was like, oh, but I was reflecting on like these menial tasks of life and how everything turned around. It's like suddenly all the traffic lights are green when you want to cross the street. And you're like, wow. It's not that suddenly this city is broken down and is like replaced with gates of golden clouds and angels singing 24/7. but this is what heaven is, It's like, it's actually very normal and real and like physical and grounded, but like in every street corner, the light goes green instead of red, and you just keep on walking, keep on walking. You're like, but this is heaven. So that's really the experience that I had. And that will happen for you too, because it's like as two peas in a pod with what harmonious union is. That's why it is so. Because that pod is made out of the right substance now. And you and your twin flame are encapsulated in that in a safe, good, peaceful way. But not in the overdrive, not in craziness, but in the goodness of God. And that's what you will experience, because I went before you and you can follow my footsteps, and everything will fall into place for you as well. It will feel heavenly. For harmonious twin flame union, or any union with your true twin flame that you would ever wish for, you need to prioritize how you feel. That is the clue of it all. And you reach that not by saying no to the arising challenges and trying to jump over them by clinging to pink clouds that hang on top of your head, but on the contrary, by accepting the very challenges that arise for you and reach through them to the goodness of God, because you know that that is the creator of your twin flame union. And you don't believe in that fear. You don't believe in the challenge part of the challenge. You believe in grounding in divine love that twin flames are truly made out of. And that's the trust with which you put your foot forward and make the next step. And that's how you step by step move through a correctly walked twin flame journey that makes you arrive. You are not stranded in waiting forever. You are not stranded in panic or waiting or despair or unloving situations. You keep on walking. Your entire pod in which you are two peas changes color, changes vibration, changes to the divine love that you are meant to live inside. And you will grow into a harmonious life together. I choose now to explore the most complete depths of my being. I surrender my mind completely to God, that He may bring it into perfect harmony with His. I invite God now into my very core, that He may make it right, returning it perfectly to its state of eternal wholeness. I trust in the power of divine love. I choose to see the truth that it is universally accepted by all. The core of every child of God, including me, we're all one with our twin flames and God. It is safe for me to open completely to love now. My love. Love is not elusive unless you command it so. But don't worry, you could not choose against love itself, because you are love itself, manifest as you eternally. If you command it to leave, love does not leave, because it cannot possibly leave. But you leave love by the power of your command. And by that same power, you can command yourself to return to love. And it is so, revealing to you that love never left. It is safe to let go. It is safe to relax into love's eternal presence. Love is calling you home. And I'll be there waiting. I have always been here with you, and I always will be. Your next step. Don't forget to actually start the process and jump on the team. Actively come to our community, start to do the correct inner work, and ask the support you deserve through our services so that we can start the relationship that will lead you to harmonious union and beyond. When you're not in a relationship, you're not on the team, and you can't expect the results I'm speaking of and, in fact, guaranteeing. Currently, you are cordially invited to step into the group year course experience. This is the Twin Flame Mystery School you have been waiting for. I'm looking for 9 people to step into this abundant opportunity. Twin Flame Abundance now has opened its doors. Start giving so that you can receive. The door closes before the end of this week. Look at the Twin Flame Year group course of your dreams at creativeuniverse.earth/abundance now, or go to the link below in the description box or in the pinned comment. The show notes. You can, however, support this ongoing live Twin Flame news as such. Make it possible as co-creator. Without your participation and financial gifts, I cannot do anything because we need to have an energetic and verbal visual exchange for things to make sense and to know what I need to talk about for you. And also, we are on Earth, and that is necessarily always working with money as a means to make sacred content actually physically flow. Therefore, I post the show notes in Patreon. Come over and enjoy. Have influence on the broadcasts. Don't miss out on the behind-the-scenes experience. Patreon.com/PEJ at Creative Universe or the link below. August 2025's Patreon subscriber action is the Divine Love reading for €111 instead of €177. If you enjoyed today's show, share it with a friend, like it, and consider subscribing to my channel so that you never miss a new video or live. I am Petra, in the consciousness state of harmonious Twin Flame Union since March 2020. Worked with the Christ Masters on Earth right now to roll this consciousness state out so everyone can enjoy the abundant life with their true Twin Flame soon enough after going in with me right here. Don't search any further. You reached what you were looking for. Om. Amen.